From the beginning, it was used as a military tool in war by the ancient dynasties of that time. The Tang dynasty, 618–907, deserves to be remembered. During this time of great battles and conquests, it was necessary to establish a method of selecting the best warriors according to a fight concept called Ta Lei Tai, fight on platform. These martial arts contests consisted of heavy combats with no rules or time limits, performed on a 3-meter height platform, called Lei Tai. The contestants fully developed their power and the fight did not finish until one fell off the platform or was unable to continue. This primitive form of competition is the real precursor of what is known nowadays as sanda or sanshou. In this DVD, we will show you an important summary of sanda Ming Chuan, how to work it, and a series of the most commonly used techniques of combat. We will show this technique subject, providing you enough knowledge to enter the wonderful world of sanda combat. This basic work of movement and defenses becomes one of the most important parts in the work of sanda. The on-guard position in sanda must be very balanced and relaxed to react at high speed, both in defense and in attack. Lower chin, hand forward at the level of the subnasal point, be able in a 90 degrees angle or so. Rear hand close to the chin, legs open to the width of the shoulders, half bent knees, parallel feet in a diagonal line, and a balanced weight of 50% in each leg. Learning to fall in sanda is very necessary because of the huge amount of projections which are performed. When falling, the contact with the arm on the floor before the body is very important. As well as immediately covering the face to avoid possible attacks, always standing up without using the hands, because they must be on guard. The shifts, whether as a defense or an attack, will be performed at high speed, and it is very important to be in the on-guard stance between them, in a perfectly balanced position, relaxed enough to move quickly. Each shift, depending on which direction or angle is performed, will help us to do more effectively a series of specific techniques. When it comes to work tactics in combat or in real fight, the distance with the adversary has a very important role, since that distance will give us the opportunity to work certain techniques. Out of distance. It is the distance at which, from our position, neither we nor the adversary could be with any technique, except if we moved or did a step forward to go into a different stance. Long distance, where we will only touch our adversary or he to us with long leg techniques. Medium distance, the distance at which we will touch each other with fists and hand blows, or with short leg techniques, such as kicks to the legs. Short distance. This is the distance which would include short shift techniques such as elbows and knees, and where we could grab the adversary to unbalance, dislocate, etc. Hand-to-hand distance. This is the distance at which our bodies come into contact to do projections, or where we use the clinch to dodge the adversary's attack. Groundwork. In this way of working, we can find other independent distances, depending on the two contestants' stance on the ground. Regarding the blocking in Sanda Ming Chuan, either with the arms or the legs, they must be performed like blows, since the contact you make in the adversary's attack will not be defensive, but the opposite, offensive, creating pain in the attacker continuously. The blocking should not be performed only with the strength of the arm or leg that is blocking, but they must be performed the same way as the attacking blows, with the whole body, starting the movement from our feet through our knees and our hip, and ending in our technique. When dodging, unlike blocking, we avoid hard contact, but we still work in an offensive way, taking advantage of the attacker's inertia to carry out our mission. In the adversary's attack, we must either completely dodge the attack, avoiding contact with it, or make a slight contact on the adversary's attack, forwarding it to where we are more interested in, to get in both cases a better position and take a security distance or make a counter to the contrary. In the blowing techniques, we must have the body totally relaxed during the whole technique, except in the final moment, where we will be tense to impact and we will immediately relax again to continue our attack, or we will move to a safe distance. This will allow us to be quick and effective in reaching our goal. Given that in sanda, grabbing to unbalance or project is allowed, the speed of performance of techniques and the effectiveness of the area which has been hit play a very important role for a KO attack, as well as to prevent at least a possible counter of the adversary. These are the two main parts to perform: the technical implementation in each specific movement and the final result of it. How to hit and its technical approach is what we normally learn in all gyms and what we are showing you here. Correct execution, speed, power, breathing, etc. Where is the comprehensive learning of all vital points of the body, knowing the movement of the body when they are touched and the effects caused by it. In order to reach these points with great precision, it is very important that the technique and the speed of execution, which we talked about earlier, are coordinated, creating a nearly perfect blow, giving to the adversary no time to react to divert his fatal point from our technique. This saves energy just throwing clear blows, doing as much damage as possible in each of them. Sweep. Sweep is the adversary's unbalance, removing only one supporting point out of the two existing ones. Projections. Projection is the complete unbalance of the adversary, removing the two supporting points, falling sharply on the ground. The sweeps and projections in the work of sanda are a key part within its technical armory. For projections, three types of force are mainly used: a sharp and sudden force, fa-hing, and a soft force, hua-hing. In a fight, it is necessary to use both alternately, although the most important one is the use of a third force, which is our adversary's. We need to absorb the strength of our opponent without resisting, quite the contrary, accompanying his motion. It involves the use of soft power, the force that changes and makes the strength of our opponent go back to itself. Whether by sweep or projection, the right performance should be done through the unbalance of its central line, with a previous movement such as a blowing technique, a grip, a hit, a push, an imbalance of the adversary using and absorbing his own energy and inertia of motion to go on with another one. It is very important, in order for our projection techniques to be effective, that our movements are very fast and well balanced, risking as much as possible, performing them as close as possible to the adversary's attack techniques, not giving the adversary any time to react. The counter projections can be worked in two ways. 1. Dodging the contrary's projection and stopping the attack or going on with a counter towards the attacker. 2. Continue letting us go by the projection of the adversary, absorbing his energy and inertia of motion, becoming the attacker and finishing with another projection. To be effective in making the counter projections, physical and mental relaxation are essential to use the adversary's energy and his movements to our benefit. In official competition, during the combat, the competitor must wear regulated boxing gloves, headgear, chest protector, and tibia and instep protectors on bare feet. His t-shirt and trousers must be the same color as his protective gear, and he must use his own mouth guard and protective cap under clothing. The color of the protective gear must be red or black. You can use attack and defense techniques of any style of school or kung fu. Areas valid which score when striking are the head, torso, thighs, and legs. Not valid areas are the back of the head, the neck, the throat, and the crotch. Forbidden methods are attacking the opponent using the head, elbows, or knees, pushing or beating in the opposite direction to the natural movement of his joints, making him fall with his head on the platform or deliberately crush or keep him down with the weight, attacking the head of a fallen opponent with a leg technique. In non-official competition, you can meet the same requirements as in official competitions, but there are other unofficial competitions organized by national and international associations in which this regulation varies. These changes depend on the type of event organized. The most important variations are validation of knee techniques and, in some cases, the elbow techniques, immobilizations on the ground, or the absence of some of the protections officially used as a headgear, chest protector, and shin guards. In some cases, these combats are named as professionals and a bag of money is given. Sometimes you can also change the elevated platform, Lei Tai, for a ring. In China, there is a kind of professional competition called Sanda 1, King of Sanda, whose basic characteristics are similar to the official rules, but with some peculiarities. For example, instead of a Lei Tai elevated platform, a boxing ring is used. Protections are not used, except for gloves and protective cap, and in the final, the champions of each weight fight to proclaim the winner. The duration of this tournament is of several months, and it is broadcasted on television in China, where it has achieved great popularity. In Sanda Mingchuan, the personal defense is the main goal of teaching to the students. The learning begins with physical qualities and blowing techniques, defense and projection. Then it is time to approach all these techniques for competition, where we learn to defend and attack in an almost real way, but with a regulation. Finally, having a good technical and physical base and mental and tactical control of competitive combat, we turn to learning real combat or personal defense, where there is no regulation to save us from some blows or circumstances. Here we learn in a more comprehensive way vital points, the work of luxations or chin na and controls on joints, groundwork, immobilizations, choking and handling, defense and attack with short weapons, a short stick, knife, kubotan, etc., and various daily weapons as a mobile phone, an umbrella, a belt, a rope, etc. The difference between the regulated combat and the real one is that we have to look for definite blow from the start of the confrontation, with no end until our security is reached, either by KO, immobilization or flight, and everything being valid, just being subject to the established law and our human criteria, depending on who and what we find in the confrontation. During a real fight, we must not leave the attacker freedom of movement at any time, but on the contrary, not a second of respite. He must feel pain from the beginning of the confrontation until the end. This will not let you think or react. The level of our attacks will depend on whether I am a civilian receiving an attack on empty hands or armed, if I belong to the security forces of the state, or whether we are soldiers in a clash of war, but during our learning we must think as bad as possible.